Okay, so now we're gonna stretch out our quads. We're gonna be doing a standing quad stretch. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be lifting up one of our feet to our glutes, and we're just gonna pull it with our hands so we can get a nice stretch on our glutes. We're gonna stare down to make sure we keep our balance correct. Sometimes you can hold on to a wall if you need to, but we're gonna pull up, pull, make sure you get a nice stretch in your quads. So our next stretch is going to be the pretzel stretch. It's going to target our glutes, our piriformis, and some of our lower back muscles. So we're going to keep one of our legs straight. So I'm going to keep my left leg straight, and I'm going to grab my other leg and put it over. I'm going to put my elbow on my knee, and we're going to pull this leg back so we can get a nice stretch in our piriformis and our glutes. And meanwhile, we're going to turn and look the other way so we can get a little bit of a stretch in our lower back, but mainly in our piriformis and our glutes. All right, so our next dynamic stretch now is going to be a forward walking lunge. So it's going to target our quads, hips, hamstrings, and glutes. So we're just going to lunge forward while walking forward. And we're just going to keep on doing it in a row. So we go up, lunge, making sure our knee doesn't go past our toes. Go up, lunge with the other foot, go down, and keep going until we reach the other side. Okay, so next we're going to do the butterfly stretch. This is going to be a static stretch for your hip flexors. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be putting the soles of our shoes together like this, and we're going to push our knees down while pushing our nose towards our feet so we can get a nice stretch in our hip flexors like this. And we're going to hold it. You can feel it in our hips while pushing down our knees and putting our nose towards our shoots. Okay, so our next static stretch is going to be for our hamstrings. It's just going to be a standing toe touch. It's a typical stretch. We go up and then go down, touching our toes, making sure our knees are as straight as possible. So we get a nice stretch in our hamstrings. We can switch the stretch up by putting our one leg in front of the other and coming down, making sure this leg, our back leg, is straight. We can do that to the other side as well. Our next stretch is going to be Frankenstein's. This is a dynamic stretch that works your hamstrings and your glutes. So essentially with this, we're going to be kicking up one leg while using our other arm to meet our leg up in front of us. And we're going to keep doing that until we walk down the row, and we're going to alternate our legs and our arms. So left leg, right arm, touch. Left arm, right leg, touch, and you can keep doing it in a row. You're going to feel it in your hamstrings and in your glutes. So our next two dynamic stretches are going to involve our neck muscles. So our first dynamic stretch is going to involve our sternocleidomastoid. It's going to be involving looking left and right, alternating, really stretching, making sure you're working that sternocleidomastoid. And then our next stretch, we're also going to work our sternocleidomastoid, but we're going to also involve our levator scapulae, which is the one that attaches to your spine. It attaches to your scapula. So you're gonna look up and down, up and down. Sometimes you can combine these together to really stretch your levator. So up and diagonal left or right. Get a nice stretch in your levator. Up and down. Okay, so our next stretch is we're gonna stretch out our levator scapulae and our traps. This is used by doing a seated assistant levator stretch and trap stretch. So I'm gonna turn around and show you what we're gonna do. So essentially, we're gonna grab with one arm the back of the chair we're sitting on, and I'm gonna look the opposite way. I'm gonna look down in the opposite way, so I'm gonna really get stretch on our levator and on our traps, so like this. And then we can grab our other hand and put it on our head and pull it down a little bit more. Really stretch that levator and really stretch those traps. And you can alternate. So next we're going to do a cross-body arm stretch. We're going to work our delts, mainly our rear delts and our front delts and our rotator cuffs. So what we're just going to do is we're going to push our arm like this. We'll work our side delts and our rear delts while working our rotator cuffs as well. And we're going to switch back and stretch the other side. So another dynamic stretch we have for our delts and our rotator cuffs is we could first start out with arm swings. We're just going to swing our arms, really stretch our deltoids and our rotator cuffs. So after a few of these dynamic stretches, really help loosen up our shoulders. And then we'll switch over to arm circles. So arm circles, we're going to start off forward and just rotate our arms into a circle. Really loosen up those rotator cuffs. And then go backwards. So for our next exercise, it's going to be calf raises. Opposing to the resistance exercise of calf raises, we're just going to be keeping our feet flat on the floor instead of having our heels below our balls of our toes, because we're just stretching here. We're not using any resistance. And we go up and just hold with our calves. And look at our gastroc and our soleus a little bit. Hold it, go back down, go back up, and keep doing that for a couple of reps. Just stretch out our calves. And then, so that was our dynamic stretch for our calves. Our next stretch is going to be our static stretch. It's also going to work our gastroc and our soleus. So you're going to find a wall, and we're going to put one of our feet up against the wall while our other is back, making sure our back foot is flat on the heel. And we're just going to lean forward, keep our legs straight, and we'll really feel it in our gastrocnemius. So our next dynamic exercise is going to work our glutes and our hip flexors. This is going to be the walking knee tuck. So for a normal knee tuck, we will just either be lying down or standing up. We're going to bring our knee to our chest and grab it. So here we're going to walk down the line, walking, grabbing one knee, tucking it, grabbing another knee, pulling it up. Just keep walking down the line similar to this. Grab, pull, grab, pull, grab, pull, grab, pull. So our next dynamic exercise is going to be the child's pose. This is going to be working our lats, our latissimus dorsi. So what we're going to do is we're going to be on our knees, and we're going to make sure we sit on our ankles. We want to be sat as far back as we can, and we're just going to extend our arms back or up forward and slowly move them and walk them forward. You can feel a nice stretch in your lats. And then to really isolate one side of our lats, we can move to the right, walk it out as far as you can, and you'll really feel an isolation in your left lat when you walk it out to the right side. Hold it for there for a little bit. Make sure our back is straight. We don't want it to be curved, so we can isolate the lats and walk it back the other way and feel it in our right lat. So our next exercise is going to be torso twists, and we're really feel this in our lower back, so our lower lats, our multifidus, or rectus spinae, and our spinalis. So essentially we're just going to grab, or we're just going to hold our arms to the side, and just going to twist one side to the next. Really loosen up our lower back. Okay, so next up we're going to be doing myofascial release on our quads. So get something round, you can use a medicine ball or a foam roller, and we're going to target our quads. We're going to put the roller on the ground, and we're going to put our quad on top of it, and we're just going to roll all the way up and down on our quads. Go up to our hips, down to our knees, and really get every single muscle in our quad. And then alternate to the other side. And go up and down by using our other knee. So next up, we're going to be rolling out our hamstrings. We're going to use anything around that we can really get deep in. So I'm using a medicine ball here, but you can also use a foam roller. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to put our roller underneath our hamstrings, and we're going to just move it around, making sure we get every single part of the hamstring. You can also get our adductors as well. And if you really want to put pressure on it, you can lift up our other leg, put it on top, and really roll around. So next up, we're going to be doing myofascial release on our glutes. I'm using a medicine ball, but you could also use a foam roller to do this. So we're going to sit on our roller and then put our other leg over one leg and just roll around. And then we can switch over onto our other glute. Really feel a little more gluteus maximus. Okay, so next up we're going to be rolling out, doing myofascial release on our calves, so on our gastrocnemius and our soleus. I'm using a medicine ball, but you can also use a foam roller or a lacrosse ball. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our calf on our roller, put our other leg on top, and kind of lift ourselves up so we can get more weight on our calves. And just kind of roll it around, making sure we get all parts of our muscle, and also put our other leg to the side and help guide it for more balance. But really get it in deep. So our next two myofascial release is going to be on our back. So first we're going to start off with our lats. So what we're going to do here is we're gonna put our lats onto the roller. You could use a foam roller, lacrosse ball. I'm using a medicine ball. And put on and extend our arm out. And we're just gonna move back and forth. And then next we're going to target our lower back, so our lats, our multifidus, and we're going to put our lower back on our roller, go back on it, and move it around. So next we're gonna do myofascial release on our hip flexors. We're gonna be using a small round object. You could use a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball. Instead I have a small kettlebell. So we're gonna go in the butterfly stretch formation, lean back a little bit, and roll our hip flex, really get deep into it. Push down a little bit. Really release our flexors. So next up, we're going to be doing myofascial release on our neck muscles, so our levator and our cerviciomastoid, and we can also at the same time hit our traps as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put our myofascial release on our levator and move it around a little bit. Here on these traps as well. Roll around our neck muscles. Really push it in deep. Massage out our muscles. If we had something like a lacrosse ball, we could put it up against the wall and lean against the wall and move it around. We could also lay on the floor and massage out our muscles as well. So next up, we're gonna roll out or perform myofascial release on our delts and our rotator cuffs. So you wanna use something small and round, so like a lacrosse ball, tennis ball. I'm using a small kettlebell. And so we want to just first target our front delt, push it in, and then we could get our side delts as well. And then our rear delts and our rotator cuffs. Since that is kind of difficult to push down against, an alternate thing that we can do is we can find a wall and put it up against the wall and go back onto it and really move our body around so we can feel it and really dig into our rotator cuffs and our rear delts.